8 mice were placed inside a perfect world. Within 5 years, every single one of them was dead. They had unlimited food and unlimited water. The temperature held perfectly stable. There were absolutely no diseases and no predators of any kind. This was Universe 25, backed by the National Institutes of Health. It was a massive 9-foot square habitat featuring stacked walk-up apartments. Calhoun mathematically calculated that the physical space could comfortably support around 3,800 mice. The population peaked at 2,200. Then it stalled and collapsed entirely. When researchers investigated, no veterinarian or toxicology report could find a single physical cause of death. The bodies were completely healthy. The society did not die from outside threats, and it did not die from physical scarcity. It collapsed from an entirely invisible internal mechanism. When Calhoun published his findings in 1973, the public reaction was explosive. Politicians, religious leaders, and urban planners pointed to the data, aggressively weaponizing the extinction of the mice as a literal blueprint for human policy. They drew a very specific conclusion: comfort kills. They looked at rapidly densifying cities and argued that a life without struggle inevitably destroys itself. But that is an incorrect reading of the data. Calhoun's actual findings pointed to a completely overlooked cause of death. The world missed the real threat. The mice in Universe 25 did not die from an abundance of physical resources. They died from a total starvation of purpose. To understand what happened, we have to look at this diagram separating physical space from social space. While the physical apartments in the enclosure were only half full, the social economy, the available roles for a mouse to play, was completely saturated. Every position in the hierarchy was taken. In a natural environment, when a population grows past what the social territory can absorb, surplus mice emigrate. They leave to find new ground. But inside Universe 25, the borders were closed. Escape was impossible. The young males, possessing no roles as providers or defenders, drifted into the center of the enclosure. They formed apathetic pools. If attacked, they wouldn't even fight back. They simply absorbed the damage, stood up, and lay back down. Meanwhile, a second group of surplus males became hyperactive. They moved erratically, skipped courtship rituals entirely, and forced themselves into established nests with indiscriminate violence. Every physical need was met, yet biological health proved irrelevant. Stripped of a social function, the individuals were left with absolutely nothing to do. This collapse quickly cascaded to the females. Because the males abandoned their protective patrols, the mothers had to defend the nests entirely by themselves, while simultaneously nursing their pups. The constant stress of dual roles caused a psychological break. Exhausted mothers began abandoning their young in scattered places, retreating to the highest apartments to live alone. In the worst stretches, mothers actively turned on their own offspring. This environment produced a final generation of surviving pups, a group Calhoun named the Beautiful Ones. Their appearance was eerie. Their fur stayed flawless because they never got into a single fight. They simply ate, they just slept, and groomed themselves obsessively, moving through the colony as if no other mouse existed in it. Their nervous systems had developed inside a world where the social fabric was already dead. With all roles filled and no functioning model of society to learn from, they opted out of the species. They never even tried to reproduce. Long before the final mouse died of old age, the colony suffered its first death. The physical bodies were still breathing, but the spirit, the structure that gave them a reason to participate, had completely expired. Calhoun explicitly diagnosed the real problem in his paper. He wrote, "A similar collapse was logical if the number of individuals capable of filling meaningful roles greatly exceeds the number of roles available. Only violence and disruption can follow." Universe 25 did not collapse because the environment lacked friction. It collapsed because the supply of purpose ran out, and nobody thought to put it back in. But mice have strict biological limits. They possess a finite number of physical roles: defender, mate, or mother. Once the space fills up, their capacity to create new roles hits a hard stop. Humans do not operate like a biological machine. When our physical space runs out, our evolution does not have to stop. Calhoun spent the rest of his career trying to prevent the very collapse he witnessed. He kept changing the variables, searching for the single element that would allow a paradise to keep working. He believed the answer lay in a concept he called ideational generativity, humanity's unique ability to extend itself into conceptual space. When our physical world contracts, we can expand our conceptual world. We can build endless new ideas, create complex art, and form intricate digital and social networks that generate roles that did not exist before. The actual lesson of Universe 25 is not that utopia will kill us. It is that a society only survives if it relentlessly invents new reasons for its people to exist.